An injury for an athlete is often a motivator to work harder to get back on the court. For Naperville North girls basketball forward Peyton Fenner, it literally changed her life. A standout player in the Huskies' success both in the DVC and Class 4A, Fenner tore her labrum in 2020 that benched her for 10 months, giving her time to spend on other things like singing and writing.
But nothing's gonna happen, not for me. I would spend like 2 to 3 hours singing. I was not reading as much as I would have liked, but I was starting to kind of like write songs, and I realized like in that time that maybe some of the reasons I wanted to play college basketball had less to do with like how much I loved it and more to do with like I liked the idea of playing college basketball.
This led the veteran leader to break from the pack and not pursue basketball in college, even though it's been a huge part of her life.
I started basketball when I was like 8. And everything else just stopped. Like it was like, this is my favorite. I don't want to do anything else. And that was kind of how I started playing. Funny enough, it was actually Greta Campstrader. My older sibling and Greta were on a YMCA team together, and that was like my first exposure to basketball.
Fenner became interested in writing and singing right around the same time she got into hoops. She performed in musicals in elementary school and eventually took part in voice lessons and music programs. Her writing skills came from reading, which she didn't enjoy initially.
I actually hated reading until I was in like 4th grade and would like pretend to read and like lie about the number of pages that I read for like the logs they made us do. And then I started to really like reading, and I started to really like writing. After COVID, I was like, I want to take a class that actually involves like creative writing. So I took creative writing last semester, and then I also started writing songs over COVID, and I've been doing that ever since.
Fenner practices her singing almost every day, and she usually works on Broadway and opera music. Believe it or not, she's not in the school choir. Basketball and academics take up her schedule, therefore she doesn't have time for any other extracurricular activities. So trying to balance sports, schoolwork, and singing has its challenges.
It can be difficult. I would say that it's more like finding the energy, because I feel like the time is always there. Like it's like there's always like an odd hour like here or there, but it's like whether or not I can like get myself to do it. But a lot of times with singing in basketball, it's like I sing in the car, and like that's like, oh, everybody's singing, but I like actually like try to practice like while I'm driving.
The work Peyton puts into her passions on the court and off leaves a strong impression on her teammates and coaches, like Husky assistant Molly Murray.
She strives for perfection in everything that she does, so I'm not surprised at all with her success and her interests. As they're unique and they're varied. At times, much more mature than maybe some of her peers. She's independent, and I really like the way she thinks.
The freedom of the decision to not play basketball in college gives Peyton a new look at the game.
Kind of like less like, oh, I'm not playing in college, so this is like a last hurrah, and more like I realized my relationship with basketball just kind of changed. So being able to kind of show up and be like in the moment, because I'm not thinking about like the future so much with basketball anymore, has definitely allowed me to not worry so much about the mistakes I make.
The senior is still figuring out where she wants to attend college to pursue writing and singing. In the meantime, she still has a few goals in mind before her final season on the court comes to a close.
It's honestly about trying to come into playoffs and give it all I've got. That's all I really want. Give it all I've got, be able to get everybody on the floor to do the same, so that no matter where we end up, obviously the goal is the big gold trophy. To be able to walk away and feel like, you know, I put in my all.
For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Josiah Schuneman.
Her skill level is just, it's right there with everybody. There's really not a difference. Negatively, so much better sound though, fundamentally. The form on field and ground balls, her hitting, her swing, everything is perfection.
Neuqua Valley freshman Nalia Clifford is a gifted athlete. She played basketball for the Wildcats this winter as a key role player on a team that won 21 games along with a DVC and regional title. Now with spring approaching, she takes her talents to the diamond, but not in the way you would expect. She is playing baseball for the freshman-sophomore team under head coach Scott Seahack. Clifford has actually been playing the sport since she was a child and has never played softball.
My brother always played baseball, and when I would go to his games, I would play catch and pitch to my dad overhand. And so that was kind of the main difference between baseball and softball, and so that's why I eventually chose to kind of follow in his footsteps, I guess, because I played at the same program with him, or as him.
Her brother is a familiar face to the blue and gold faithful. Nolan Clifford is the starting shortstop at Creighton University after playing at Neuqua for 4 years. Her sister Maya Clifford was a mainstay on the softball field at Neuqua, graduating in 2022 after an all-state senior season. It's clear they both have had a tremendous impact on Nalia's life on the field.
It's always just been competitive at home, and they've always taught me every time they learned something new, they'd teach me, so I kind of had a head start, I guess, because we would just in practice all the time, play catch outside. It was just something we would do, so it definitely made me a lot better.
Since the beginning of practices, Nalia has had a seamless transition to the freshman-sophomore team.
It's felt pretty normal because I've been playing with boys since I was 7 or 8 years old. I mean, they are new, I've never played baseball with any of them, but I guess that's kind of the main difference.
She's a baseball player. That's all I'm looking to coach baseball, and she's a baseball player. You don't even see anything other than that. She fits in with everybody. They know her from summer ball, so it's a really good situation.
Girls are allowed to try out and compete on high school baseball teams in Illinois, and several have done so across the state in recent years. Although most eventually switch over to softball for the collegiate scholarship opportunities. However, right now, Nalia Clifford is excited to start the season with her new team and plans to continue playing the sport of baseball in hopes that she gets an opportunity to play on varsity one day.
That's my plan, but if it doesn't work out, there's always other things I can try, maybe even switch to softball, but yeah, baseball is my first plan A.
For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Josiah Schuneman.
It's just kind of a dream come true, to be honest.
Seven years ago, Kathleen Doyle won Miss Basketball of Illinois after leading Bennett Academy girls basketball to back-to-back state titles. Now, Lene Beaumont joins her idol as the second winner of the award for the Red Wings and the third girl ever from our area schools. The senior also helped Bennett to back-to-back state appearances, including a runner-up finish this season while also receiving a first-team All-State selection. Back in March, she took home 2023 Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year as well. She also joins Candace Parker as the lone local athlete to win both awards. Lene got the chance to meet Kathleen at practice during the season, and after Lene won Miss Illinois Basketball, Kathleen gave her a call to congratulate her. She couldn't be more thrilled to win the prestigious award just like her idol.
If little Lene were to think oh yeah, your senior year, you're gonna win Miss Basketball, she would have been like you're lying to me. She would never have believed it. To be considered along with those great names, they're all big time players, played well at the next level as well. So just growing up watching Kathleen Doyle win it is just it's awesome.
Head coach Joe Kilbride was the one who broke the news to Lene when she won the award.
Coach Kilbride came to my house. I wasn't expecting him to be there, so when he rang the doorbell, I was pretty a little confused, honestly. And then he just basically told me I won Miss Basketball, and I had no words. I was kind of speechless.
Her accomplishments are a culmination of all the hard work she has put in on the court, as well as how far she has come since being a freshman on varsity back in the fall of 2019. Not only has she made a huge impact on the hardwood, but also on her teammates and coaches.
She's just such a good person. Lene's a great human being, and she's always been incredibly talented player, but also very humble at the same time, great teammate.
Kilbride has coached both Lene and Kathleen, and he sees similarities between the two.
The thing about her and Kathleen both is they were always about winning. They weren't hunting points, they were never hunting stats, they were always hunting wins for the program and elevating the program.
As a teammate, Lene is the least selfish person you will ever meet. She was constantly looking for us to get the ball to, just giving up game-winning shots because she wanted her teammates to have the chance to make the shot. And that also translates to her as a person. She never puts herself first. She's always so concerned about other people, and she's just always so caring.
Now with her high school career coming to a close, Lene will be off to Bloomington in the fall, where she will be dressed in red and white again, but this time for the Indiana Hoosiers. She is pumped to play for an elite program in the Big Ten.
Can't wait to get on campus, I guess, get to work with the coaches. I've already built like pretty good relationships with most of my teammates, but get to play with them, learn how they play. I'll be on the same court as like Caitlin Clark, which is just crazy, even though I played her my freshman year. To think like I'll continue to play her. I'll get to see some Bennett teammates as well in the Big Ten, so I'm pretty excited.
After her icon made her mark on the program years ago, Lene Beaumont built a legendary career of her own, and her name will never be forgotten at Bennett Academy. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Josiah Schoeneman.